We always talk ourselves out of.
Nice.
It's a little expensive.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I actually like this one.
And what did you
It
say?
is good. Vaudeville is good.
What did you say LOC stands for again?
Live Oak Creek, which is the creek that borders the property.
Okay.
And when Coach Holloman's wife, Dabs, her grandparents bought the property in 1964, he just would always say, instead of saying, come to Fredericksburg for Thanksgiving or Christmas, he'd say, come to LOC, come to Live Oak Creek. So as a tribute to him, they're always going to have a blend and label it LOC. And this is our LOC white.
Nice.
Okay.
Now, how does the passport work? Do we get a booklet or what do we do?
Ooh, I don't know. I'll do whatever. I mean, I don't. Do you have
but
a
we were supposed to
booklet?
get our booklet from you.
Yeah.
Oh, from you? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure we have them here. I teach school Monday through Friday.
Oh.
And I'm here on Sundays because I love it and I love the family. They're just great.
So you just help out. That's cool.
I help every Sunday. Let me
Yeah.
find it.
Okay. 1861 Vineyard.
Wait, say it again? Oh. How you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Let me go get the password. I'll be right back.
Perfect, thank you.
Find out though.
Oh, he said password though.
The passport.
Okay.
Passport.
Okay, but he said password.
No, he's
so I-
Texan. Yeah.
Okay.
Closest.
Welcome to 1851.
Hi.
Do you have your little thing on your phone?
Yep. On
That's all I
the
need.
the receipt part
Yes, ma'am.
or the email.
So tell us about that. What are y'all doing with the passport? What is it?
Oh, here you go.
Basically, there's a trail between now and the next 2-3 weeks where you pay $70 a couple and you get all your, I think it's, we'll double
You
check.
can have any amount of tastings you want, up to 4 a day, but every day is good.
Yes.
Okay.
Order
We're
information.
talking about the people that had that last year.
We're at Contact,
Loved it.
There you
and
go.
they said it was really good.
Yeah.
I think it is. It's really good for the wineries. I think it's also really good. First of all, $70 for a couple.
Right.
You get that really quickly.
Sure.
We are 15 on our tasting fees, but many of us is 20. Almost everybody is 20.
Went up.
Crazy. Yeah.
So you do-
You got it.
Thank you.
And then please don't forget to fill this out.
Okay.
It does become important. We found one left behind yesterday, and so when you return it
Sure. Sure.
to you,
Brian.
No.
you can go around and you
Tom Joe.
4 days.
Very good.
I'm Joe.
And what's your name again?
I'm John.
John. Nice to meet you.
Micah.
Micah.
Nice to
pleased
meet you.
How's things today?
But you can't find
Good.
Mike on the. Nice. No,
There we
that's
go.
again.
That's pretty cool.
Yes,
That's
because I
because she
can't
can't
ever remember. I don't want to remember when I'm sitting here talking, you know.
So for this passport thing, right? Is it just the 44 wineries that signed up, or is it for any winery?
It's these
Got you.
on the back, right there.
But my question though is there's a lot more wineries and vineyards in your area than this. These are just the ones that wanted to participate. Am I
Correct.
correct? Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
There's like 52 wineries, Dabs, give or take. And so this is only, what, 20 or 30 of them maybe?
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah, there's a bunch of wineries around here. And they're popping up just as hard and fast as they can.
Yeah.
It is crazy. Truly. So where are you guys from?
Norman, Oklahoma.
Norman, Oklahoma. I
Sooner
love
territory.
it. The Vineyard Trail.
Yeah.
Territory today.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yes, it is. You're absolutely right.
We've already talked about it.
Yeah.
It's probably Daryl. Okay, good. And then what did you get? Well, we got our picture.
We'll,
We got 2
Get him.
I know, right? those vineyard maps, right? I know.
Everywhere, man.
Yep.
We got a little stamp somewhere.
Yes.
Do you want mine?
Sure. I like that.
Did you like it?
So y'all staying in Fredericksburg?
No, we're actually staying in San Antonio. We have like a timeshare, and it's like he had an extra week to use. Because I haven't been to San Antonio since I was a kid, so
Born and raised.
yeah, so we're staying out there, and
good.
And we thought we'd make a trip out here while we're,
Not the driving.
There you
while
go.
we're out. Yeah.
It's not far.
No.
We come about every 6 weeks or so.
Where do you live?
In Bulverde, which is just north of San Antonio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if we lived out this way,
Coming out here.
yeah, we would come a lot more. That's for sure. I think this is probably our fourth time, probably.
Have y'all done Pearl? The Pearl, what do they call it now? Pearl Market. Pearl Market. Yeah. If you're staying in San Antonio, you should go there. They used to be the Pearl Brewery. Blue Star.
Okay. Is it a winery or a brewery?
Pearl, they took a brewery.
You know Pearl Beer, right?
He loves
You heard of Pearl Beer?
No, I haven't.
This is
It's
the
not
original beer.
But it was around forever.
Her uncle retired from it.
Like 50 something years.
So they moved it. They're not there no more. And so they made it to high-end kind of,
They have all kinds of shops and restaurants.
they have
and
farmers markets there on the weekend.
Oh, okay.
It's a whole complex.
Yeah, it's a whole big
And
complex.
it's very, it's kind of cool to see. They said we don't go very often. We live here.
Blue Star
I know, right? Yep.
The whole enchilada.
The whole enchilada.
And then these guys too, right?
It's kind of a hip
Yeah.
to be.
Y'all do the tour? Did you sign up for
Yeah.
the tour?
It's kind of a neat place.
No? Okay.
What for?
No, yeah, I think it's just that.
Just those guys.
The rosé. Interesting color, huh?
This is our rosé.
Yeah.
It's a Muscat Canelli and a Cabernet
No.
blend. No,
Cabernet.
it's just that.
We are well
that's-
taken care of.
They're well taken care of.
Good.
Got it all? Thank you. Oh, okay.
So, you're the winemaker,
Enjoy
correct?
your
No. I grow the grapes. This is the winemaker right here. This is the lady you need to talk to.
Oh, okay. So, and that's Dabs, right?
Yeah, so his name's John.
John?
Oh,
But John and Dabs, we read, but
this
they're
one
the owners,
is.
right?
They are the owners,
Okay.
yes.
The rosé?
And this is one of their sons. This is
hi.
Jordan.
Jordan,
Hi,
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Is this the rosé?
This rosé.
What?
That's a Muscat Canelli and a Cabernet blend.
And what's your name again?
Angie.
Angie. Nice to meet you, Angie. Teacher Angie.
Teacher Angie. How funny.
That's an interesting combination
What?
for the rosé.
Oh,
It's very different.
he's an expert
Very
at
different.
this. He
You
can,
are right. My mom and several other. I had a little note that explained everything whenever I tasted it. I was going to show you, but
Oh, okay. What was your name again?
Jordan.
Jordan. Okay.
Yeah. So this is one that I would consider more of like a brunch wine.
Okay.
And so this is, you could do a dinner if you wanted to. I'd recommend like a turkey, something like a light meat. So like turkey or chicken, but I think this one is more suited for brunch. With eggs, something with bacon. You get a very interesting sweetness to it, like a sorbet. I also get a little bit of a creaminess to it as well. I believe that is going to come from the orange muscat. The most interesting feature that I got for this is, have you ever had kombucha?
No.
No. So I'm getting a kombucha feel.
Yeah, haven't heard of that.
Which is really, usually that's something you don't hear of, but knowing John and how he makes his wine, I can see where that would come
This is
into play.
John's last name?
Rivenberg.
That's what I thought. So that's the guy from Bending Branch.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I
Okay.
used to work with John in Bending Branch
Okay.
before we ever started this.
Okay,
wow.
well, we
So I worked
love
with Dana
Bending Branch,
and Jen, and then I call them the originals. So
Yeah.
whenever we were there,
The OGs.
Okay.
yeah, the old timers over there, even though I don't look like it, I helped start Branch on High. So
Okay.
when Branch on
Okay.
High first opened up, it was
Yeah.
me, Dana, and Ina, or Linda, Dana's
Yeah.
mother, that started the opening or the grand opening.
Okay.
The craziest night I've ever had to work in my life, and I still hold to it to this day. It was the craziest night I've ever had to work in my life because the register wasn't working, and so Dana had to man the register full time. Linda had to do glasses full time, and so I had to serve everybody. So I was the guy who kept going back and forth because I was
Yeah,
faster
like
than
a rubber
everybody
band.
else.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. So it was good, but yeah, this is a very, very different type of rosé, especially one that you see along 290 because most of the ones along 290 you get that typical strawberry feel, you get that lightness and stuff like that. This is thicker. It's
definitely
slightly
is.
thicker. You get
Well,
that
and the
creamy,
color, it left
and
it on the skins a long time.
And we also
you know?
didn't do a full filtration on either.
Okay.
So you get a little bit more back, and you can even see with some of our bottles.
Do you have a dump bucket I can use?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Okay.
So you can.
Oh
see
yeah, it's not. You even filtered it at all? You did filter it once?
No?
I don't
Or is it
know.
unfiltered?
It's partially filtered.
Okay, I was gonna say.
So we filtered it once, of course, because you have to. And then but we also, John likes to play around with his wines. Since we already had a Rouge that was out, we wanted something that would be a lot different. Because if you have one wine that's already out that's similar to a rosé, you don't want anything like it. But it wasn't going to be anything similar to the Rouge in general because the Rouge is a 100% Malbec.
Right.
And so that already is going to give it a different feel compared to any other wine
Right.
that you typically see. I mean, don't yes, give me one.
Yes, please. Just
I want you to hold it and look at it, smile.
and lick it.
Look at it.
Oh, I thought you said lick it.
He did. It's one of those, like, scratch and sniff, scratch and lick.
And I'm going to take one of
Oh, for social media.
yeah.
Okay, so unfiltered is what I'm gonna put. 'Cause it's close enough.
Yeah, you can.
Close enough.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You can tell in almost every single bottle at the bottom of it.
Yeah. No, you really can.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, I need to get my little booklet. I'm trying to blog to the family, which is a weird.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. Well, that's not my favorite at all.
No, it wasn't.
Actually, that's probably for me an F. Wow.
Since we have so many stories here compared to other wineries,
Yeah.
I had a gentleman come in and said, "Well, why don't you put any of this on your website?" I was like, "Oh man, now I have an extra task to have to do." So now I wrote down all the ones we need to do, and he's right. I have 12 different stories that I can literally write on a place, and I was just like, "Well, I can write one once a month and try to catch us
Yep.
up to them."
Yep.
So let me get you all those next wine. I believe
Okay.
we're on the Rouge.
Yep.
And let's put a good wine key in my car.
And next is the Rouge. I just can't believe that. RO.
All right. And so this Rouge was again 100% Malbec, and really it was John kind of experimenting a little bit. The vines that we had for this were at the third year, and so if you know, most vines aren't ready until maybe their fourth year.
Right.
And so you had a little bit of a half and half. So I'm just going to continue using the vine. I've already rinsed them out with it, so.
Now, when did you? Okay, because I thought I read on the website that I know the vines were planted
5 years ago.
Okay, but not very long. But last year was your first year. Was
For
that
harvest.
your first year?
Harvest, that was
So
last
this is your
year.
first
So
vintage?
this is our second harvest year. Was this
this
year.
is the wine.
The wine, we haven't released our own wine yet. So,
Aha.
so our first release for our reds will be this upcoming spring.
So where's this wine from?
All these are from the High Plains.
From the High
all
Plains.
these wines are from the High
But
Plains.
you guys made the wine.
Here.
It's just that the grapes were from you
Yes, ma'am.
sourced these. Okay, so these are
And
all
we didn't even make them
sourced.
here. John Rivenberg did at Bending Branch until we had a facility built.
Got it.
And so, yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's good. And so then
Rolling.
coming soon will be your red release.
Yes, ma'am.
What about your white release? Do you not
We
have?
did. We did have one. It was our Chardonnay. We didn't. So my family is very much into reds. We didn't really plant a lot of white wine.
Yeah.
So we did Chardonnay because we didn't know what we were doing 5 years ago, and we'll admit to it. And we had 4 cases of Chardonnay. Funny story. That's actually the story I'm working on now. Is we didn't know that we were the only winery in the Fredericksburg within the Texas Hill Country AVA. So the old winery that was here was the old Pedernales winery, and they've closed. Now you have the new Pedernales winery that's down on 290, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been to that one twice,
So
but
So
How long's it been there on 290?
Not too long. Not too long.
Maybe. Okay.
And so the old Paradise Winery, they established Fredericksburg within the Texas Hill Country AVA as the second AVA named in Texas. And so we are the second winery to ever have it for their labels. So we have a Chardonnay within the Texas Hill Country, or Fredericksburg within the Texas Hill Country bottle, and we can show it to you. The reason why it was so weird was because whenever we sent it in to get approved for label wise,
Right.
it took longer than 3 weeks that it usually takes. My sister had no idea what was going on. I was like, oh, it could be because we're in a different AVA. And so she looked at me and she's like, what do you know that I don't?
Oh.
So, because of that, this is literally the title you have to put on your bottles of wine. It's
Okay.
extremely long.
In the Texas Hill Country, Fredericksburg.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So with Bell Mountains in Fredericksburg, and then they created the Texas Hill Country after, you know. And so it's a very interesting story, but we're the second, we're currently the longest lasting. Or the most current, whichever one you want to go with.
Yeah. So now you don't taste that, but that is for sale, correct?
It is for sale.
Okay.
It's a very unique Chardonnay. I will say that you do get more of a tropical feel, but you still get that butteriness to the Chardonnay as well. I find it very lovely. It might not be the best Chardonnay, but it is a good one to experience because of our unique climate here. That and the fact that Texas can't grow Chardonnay, so that's a treat in and of itself.
Right.
So yeah, that one is our most expensive bottle though on our menu. So it is very, very unique.
The Chardonnay is? Why is that your most expensive?
Because Chardonnay is the most grown grape in the world, but because of how it was grown, how it was made, and the fact that it was our first white wine, we had to pay for that label somehow.
Okay.
That's the only reason why. Because after this year, I think we're going to uproot the Chardonnay because we got one bucket this year.
Uproot or graft?
Take it out. We're taking it out because it doesn't grow here.
Right, but why don't you graft on the vines?
Because if you're grafting it, that means we're going to move it somewhere else, right?
No.
So it doesn't grow because of the temperature climate, not due to the soil.
Right, but that's correct. So if you graft, you would graft onto the rootstock.
So whenever you graft, that's whenever you're attaching it to another rootstock, which is resistant to soil diseases. Our problem is birds and temperature. Chardonnay can do tropical temperature because of the rain content, and it can do cold temperature because you're still getting rain.
No, I understand that, but why can't you take? Maybe I'm missing something. Why can't you take your rootstock? Why can't you take your
rootstock is usually for disease.
I know that, but if theirs is already, you wouldn't move it.
The grapes aren't maturing enough, you think?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not.
It's not that they're dying.
You cut. I'm just confused because I know, like, so here's our Chardonnay right now, and they're not producing the way they should and whatever. So you cut down the rootstock because this is already phylloxera, and you graft on the top of Pinot Noir or Cabernet or Tannat, and now you've got a mature stock.
We just have to find someone in the state that does that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I'm getting at. I'm like, where would you move it?
We don't have someone in the state that currently does that, but we do have some friends that are about to start. Yeah, that's
I didn't know that piece.
So right now, everyone outsources for grafted rootstocks from California, Washington, maybe Oregon, but not really.
And so you get your vine that's already been grafted onto a phylloxera-resistant stock.
P1132, P1103, it's something like that.
You're just lucky I remember the word phylloxera. Who knows?
So we're currently working on
Okay, so now I get it.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand. Why would you?
Yeah, if you already have it.
Why would you rip it up? That's a lot of labor, you know. I mean,
right, and I don't think, and we also don't believe that the first plants that we got were fully Pierce disease resistant as well.
Okay.
And so that's just because we were new, we didn't know the guys. My dad literally on a whim was just like, yeah, we're gonna start a vineyard. We're like, yeah, sure, Dad, we're just gonna start a vineyard. He's like, yeah, I just got 600 grapevines. We're like, okay, shit.
Okay.
Switch over to our LOC Red. Now this is going to be my mom's Cryptic
Okay.
Wine Enthusiast magazine came to the city of Fredericksburg and was like, well, we want to do an article on Texas wines. Who would you recommend? The Chamber of Commerce, the Visitor Center, and every other winery suggested us. And so we found that to be a very
That is really cool.
Yes. My parents are all about volunteering, giving back, helping those you ask for your help around you. It's just how my family works. I mean, you could ask any of me and my siblings, and if someone needs help, even during harvest, it's interesting because we were all competing on who would go and help another winery and not stay here and be open for a Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit weird when you have to compete and tell another sibling, like, no, you need to stay here. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon, Tannat and Alicante Bouschet blend. Have you heard of Tannat?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Alicante Bouschet?
No.
So that was a grape variety invented back in 1855 by a man named Henry Alicante Bouschet. He was very full of himself. He was a botanist. He named about 12 grapes after himself. So he has the Petit Bouschet, he has the Petit Alicante Henry Bouschet, the Henry Bouschet, and then the Alicante Bouschet.
Is it a hybrid?
It is a hybrid grape, and it is a true black grape.
What does that mean?
So there are very, very few grapes that can claim the name true black grapes. There's about 12 red grapes in the world. Most red grapes are dark skinned but clear fleshed. A Petit Syrah is one of those grapes. So that purple mouthfeel that you get, that's the Alicante Bouschet. It's dark skinned and dark fleshed. Again, extremely, extremely rare to get one of those. Since there's about 10,000 grape varietals in the world that are red, 12 are dark.
Okay. But it is a.
And if you want to check me on that.
No, I'm with you.
We believe you.
This is the book I get things from.
Yeah, I believe you.
And so this, I think, only lists, I think, about 1,000 or so different grape varietals. It gives you their names, surnames, stuff like that. And it is not the most current, but it has a 2012 copyright date. So I'm going to go with this guy.
Now, when you said that this is Dab's favorite wine or whatever you said,
Cher Coup de Grace, meaning,
what is that?
I mean, this is the one that she's the most proud of currently.
Okay, so whose idea, being so new in the wine industry, whose idea was it to take those three, and Tannat almost gives it away for me, but whose idea was it to take those three and put a blend together, John?
No. So,
Okay.
well, I will say yes, but in some aspects it goes to, we had some left over, and let's do something with it. And every winery that you see, you'll see what grapes they usually grow, and then you look into their blends. Their blends are going to be some form of what they usually grow for single varietals. And you can look at Becker's, you can look at Grape Creek, you can look at every winery and see, oh, this is what you mostly grow, and here's your extra ones. So it's just another way to make something, because blends are like your bread and butter. Blends will pretty much give you a wine that you can manipulate in some form or fashion that people are going to love. Mourvèdres tend to be high in acidity by themselves, so you add them to a wine that has a lot of tannin.
Right.
So it's not, in Mourvèdre, perfect blending. So Tannat, high in tannins. Cabernet Sauvignon is good by itself. And then you get to your Alicante Bouschet, a little bit higher in acidity, but nothing too unbalanced. So together, all three of those make a beautiful wine.
Okay.
You're like, you told me.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm supposed to be drinking coffee by Karen. I should be awake.
What do you think of that one?
Not bad.
Not bad.
my
It's
favorite
not
one.
bad. And again, we're not going to brag or boast about it, but it is a nice wine. It's a good wine that I would drink just by itself whenever I get home without a meal or anything like that. Alright, the next one is going to be our Tempranillo. Now this one is not all Texas grown. This is going to be a grape that we got from the Sierra Foothills in California because in 2014, that was the year after we had a severe drought in Texas. And so 60 to 70% of all the Texas grapes were destroyed because of, not drought, late freeze.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, late freeze. And so if you're a no-name winery and you're out looking for grapes, well, all the big wineries already bought them all in Texas. So then we had to outsource. So even though these grapes are from the Sierra Foothills from California, we did do them properly. These actually did stay in a barrel for 2 years. And you're going to get a smooth quality. A lot of the wines along 290, you're going to get a greenness to them, a little bit of a sharpness, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that Texas can't meet the supply of its demand. So this one I find it very intriguing because my family, we were told by John, since he had already done a winery by itself, wait as long as you can because you're always going to have that demand for your supply. So if you do it right though, you'll end up having a perfect quality, perfect product, and it'll allow you to kind of jump the ranks a little bit higher. And so we agreed. And so this Tempranillo is extremely nice. You're not going to get that greenish. You're going to get a unique smoothness to it, if anything. So I am going to cleanse your glass a little bit, just because I feel it's right. My parents don't like it when I do it, but if people know their wine, I tend to do it for them. So I hate it when people use water. I'm like, please don't use water. I did a minor in chemistry. I know what water does.
This is nice.
It's a lot different than most Tempranillos, which I don't even like Tempranillos. So. After seeing Tempranillos for 5 years in the wine industry, I'm just like, I'm done. I don't want to see a Tempranillo ever again. With all these different grape varieties in the world, I would be so happy to see more.
It's good.
Are you serious?
No, I can't. It's kind of fruity.
Good luck with the fruit flies.
Yeah.
It's the year for it. We're still kind of going through the tail end of our fermentation process. Texas has a lot longer production period than any other place because the High Plains is similar to California down here. It's late July, early August. So from late July until about October, we're harvesting grapes. And so all of November, we're going through the fermentation process.
Okay. That's very cool.
So I have a treat for y'all.
Oh, okay.
We have one of our Alicante Boucher single varietals open. I don't know if y'all want to try it.
Yeah, I knew, only because I don't know what it is.
Yeah, this is a single varietal. So it's just the Alicante by itself. This is one that, because of the weird smoothness of the Tempranillo, they're kind of competing with each other, but I hope it's changed since when we first released these. I'm trying to figure out what else I can say with this guy. The grapes aren't from California.
Okay.
Because whenever we did our reds, the first 3 that we did, the grapes came from elsewhere. They came from the
color.
They came from color. Oh yeah, that color again. It's going to be similar to that Petite Syrah. The Petite Syrah, I believe, does have a darker flesh than the Alicante Boucher, but it's still the Alicante Boucher still has.
What's that one in New York? La Frankish. No, it's or otherwise known as, it starts with an L.
Oh, the cheese thing?
No, remember there was
Lambrusco?
2 names for it. There was 2 names.
Lambrusco.
No. But anyway, Blau Frankish, or anyway, it was like this black juice wine, and it was so good.
It could be.
Just the right amount of tannins and the right. I mean, it was just so fruity.
Could it have been a Black Franc or the Cabernet Franc?
No, it was like I said, it's an Austrian grape, and it was called Blaufränkisch. But there's another name for it that starts with an L that I can't think of. Oh wait, now it's coming to me.
It starts with an L.
Lemberger. Blaufränkisch. No, I like the nose better. Lemberger. I don't care for that. I like the nose. Lember.
No, not that I can see. Limburger. See, Blaufränkisch.
Oh,
Good job. Blaufränkisch.
Blaufränkisch. Because some of the vineyards would call it Lemberger and some would call it Blaufränkisch. And at first we were like, what?
It's like the fight in Spain on Monastrell, and so now they've kind of come to terms with calling it Vedra instead of Monastrell.
Yeah.
And so
see, and I would never have known that one word, Monastrell or whatever. I wouldn't know that one.
Blaufränkisch.
Yep.
And so yes, it does show it as a dark grape, but it might just be considered dark skin.
Right,
So
right. I have no idea.
Like I think it's Malbec, so where even if you pierce no, it's not Malbec. It's gonna be. Oh, I can't think of the other one. It's Merlot Malbec. There's a specific grape where even if you pierce the skin to the flesh, the color of the skin is so dark it taints the flesh automatically. So you can't even make a rosé from it. And I need that little chart. It's like the periodic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that thing. And so it shows it. But yeah, you're right. Austria grape. It's the second most planted dark berry variety. So usually when it says dark berry, then I would have to assume it's going to be.
Right. It was like ink. It was like ink, and it made you think that if you got it on anything, it would just stain.
Yeah.
It was so dark and thick, and I loved it. Well, that was good.
Yes.
Okay. Fun. All right. What else?
We got this.
Yeah, we need to get that stamped. If we
Got a
haven't.
stamp.
Oh, we did.
Have a stamp?
Awesome.
If not, I know where the stamp is.
You got it.
No, I think that's it.
All right.
Okay, well, perfect.
Joan, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the information. That was really good.
You guys, y'all have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, we will. If I was gonna tell, where did the dad go? The dad go. Go ahead. Oh.
And you're welcome to take any pictures that you want to. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to refer to a couple of things. Remember these oak chips. Okay. Because this is part of our flavoring. Whenever we do the fermentation, we use these oak chips. Because what we do, instead of buying new barrels, we buy used barrels.
Yeah.
Because if I bought a new barrel, it costs you $1,000 or more. Okay. So what we do is once that. That's some more. Yeah, you said 3. No, they've already got it. Oh, just yeah. I said they've got 3. They've gotten 3. What we do instead of buying a new barrel, because they do cost $1,000 a piece, we wait until a new barrel has been used 3 times. Because the first time that barrel is used, that oak flavor drops to about 70%. Second time that oak barrel has been used, that oak flavor drops way down to about 30%. Third time it's considered to be a neutral barrel by winemakers, all right? And it doesn't have enough of that oak flavor left. So what we do, we buy them at that point in time, because I can get them for $100, $125, depending on how many that we order. I take them and I sterilize them. We've got a steamer out there that heats up to about 180, 200 degrees. We just blow them out. And then for the oak that used to be in there, we add this during fermentation. Okay?
I've always wondered about that. Do you put it in like a bag?
It's just like a recipe, just like a cup of it whenever you go into
Oh,
fermentation.
and then you just filter it out afterwards.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Here's what we do during fermentation. That's when we add the recipe, so to speak. Okay. And what we do is what's called small bin fermentation, which means instead of trying to make 2,000 gallons of wine at a time, I don't know if you can see through there. I'll tell you what. Come on, let's just go around here.
It's gonna be hard with it to keep this in.
Yep.
You can see all these blue bins that are everywhere. Well, in those blue bins, what happens when they come out of the high plains, for the most part, because we get most of our grapes out of the high plains, Terry County, Lubbock, Brownfield, et cetera. Well, there's 1,000 pounds of grapes that come in those bins, which converts to about 100 gallons of wine. So instead of trying to do 2,000 gallons of wine at a time, we do 100 gallons of wine at a time. All right? And we have this little machine over there. If you see that little blue machine, that's called an Enofos, that little thing that's blinking. All right? That Enofos is the latest and greatest in wine technology. It will measure the Brix, the sugar, the pH, the tartaric acid, the alcohol, anything in that glass of wine, anything in that barrel, anything in that tote, any cluster of grapes that we pick in the vineyard during the spring, or during the, not the spring, but we start probably about May, and
Picking?
picking clusters of grapes to.
Oh, I was
run
going to
the
say,
numbers.
what? You
Yeah,
don't do
no.
harvesting.
No. We're picking a cluster of grapes
Got
to
it.
run the numbers so
Right.
we can start charting.
Sure.
All right, the rise in the bricks and the rise in the pH.
Right.
Because when the pH hits 3.4 and the bricks, the sugar hits 24, that's when we pick. Okay? So we're all about the numbers, as they would say. It's kind of like doing your blood work. All right? We want to know everything that's happening, so to speak. So we processed 240 tons of grapes last year, which means that at any given time there was 480 of those bins that went through here. Okay? Every day we run the numbers on those. Every day we punch them down. Remember Lucy and Ethel stomping on the grapes? All right, I'll show you how Lucy and Ethel. Right here. So this is what we do our punch downs with every day, because during fermentation that crust of grapes rises to the top of that bin, and all the juice is on the bottom. So what you have to do is punch those grapes back down into that juice, right? All right. And
How do you get up there? Do you have a forklift
No,
that you
they're
can
right
skim?
there in those bins.
Oh.
We don't do them in that. We do them in the
Oh, you ferment in the.
bin itself. In the bin,
Oh.
100 gallons at a time.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
All
Okay.
right. Sure. And so, come on out here. In fact, I'll even walk you through the process. It's pretty muddy around here, so have to excuse the mess, as they would say. So right now, what we're doing is putting those barrels in. We're just letting them swell, okay? Because some swell, some don't. And then we'll take this steamer, all right, and then we'll drop that down in that hole and just blow all of that old stuff out of it, clean it up, drop a sulfur strip in it to kill any bacteria, and then we go to work on it. So what happens is the grapes come in on an 18-wheeler. I take the forklift, and you got to realize that piece of equipment, the destemmer, and those two conveyor belts are all in a straight line right here. Okay, so you have to imagine that, I guess you would say. So we dump 1,000 pounds of grapes into the hopper. They go up to the destemmer. That obviously separates the stem from the grape. The grapes fall down on the conveyor belt, and we're picking out leaves and green grapes, because the green grapes changes the numbers again, right? And then they go right back into the bin that we dumped them out of, and we start fermentation in that bin. Okay, we add the recipes, etc. All that pieces of oak and just everything. Okay,
Yeah.
That's where it happens. Take them in there for 10 days, punch them down every day, run the numbers every day. 10 days later, we bring them back out here, put them in the press. I can put 4 bins in that big round drum, that big round press. Okay, 45 minutes later, it squeezes every bit of juice out of there that you could possibly imagine, to the point when they come out of there, this is what they look like. Wow. Okay, they are squeezed to the max, as they would say. All right, no more juice. And I take all of this, and you can see the piles of them out there.
Yeah, you put it back in the vineyard.
I feed them to the deer, and what the deer don't eat, I end up using for compost. Here's what they look like after they've been squeezed.
Hey, can somebody buy that from you for compost?
You could, but the problem is after a few days, and if it's
Oh, the
real hot
moisture.
weather,
Yeah.
it starts to mildew.
Sure.
So if I could figure out how to freeze dry it or something like that, then maybe so. Okay. All right. So we squeeze the grape, throw the skins away, and we pump the juice into those silver tanks now, and then we start a process called racking. Racking means that we're going to use gravity and let all of those pieces of sediment and all that wood shavings that we used, all of that's going to settle on the bottom, the sediment, basically the bottom of the barrel. Okay. It's going to sit there for about 2 days, and then we're going to take the good juice that it's risen on the top and pump it into the second tank and rack it again, okay? All the stuff that's in the bottom, it's called lees, L-E-E-S. I throw that away. But if you're somebody like Gallo that makes millions of gallons of wine a year, 1 gallon is 5 bottles. If they just took 500,000 bottles, they squeeze that lees one more time, fill up $500,000, charge you $2, hello Chuck. They generate another $1 million. Great marketing. It's just the wine is not what you call good. I don't know
So
how else
that
to
top
say it.
part is the free run. Is that what they call
Well, what we call a free
free
run.
run? Right.
What we call a free run is when after it's run through the destemmer and it falls onto the shaker, there's just a ton of juice. and that we pump that juice straight to those tanks. That's what we call a free run.
Okay.
But
Yep.
I'm sure there's different, different versions of that. Anyway, we rack it once, we rack it twice, then we put it in a barrel. So if you notice, our barrels are all used. And it's because I can get them for a lot less. I mean, I'd rather clean them out and know what I've got than, unless I could afford a new barrel. I can't afford new barrels right now. They're pretty expensive, especially when you've got a startup business. Because we've only been open for a year, okay? Which is, we're doing pretty good, as they would
What's
say.
your production?
Pardon?
What's your production after just 1 year?
Well, we do another thing called custom crush, which means that if you've got grapes and they've got grapes, where are you going to take those grapes to be processed? Well, we do that for about 3-4 other wineries.
In 1 year you started doing that?
In 1 year.
Oh my gosh.
We opened up with 1,500 cases of wine. We pretty well sold out. And so now we're up to we're pushing 5,000 cases right now for this
of
little
other
place.
people's labels.
No, for us. For us.
So you're custom crushing your own stuff, or you're custom crushing for other people?
I'm making my own, and I'm custom crushing for other people.
Okay.
So last year we did 240 tons, which is about 14,000 cases.
Yeah.
This year we've done 425 tons, which is about 26,000 cases for other people. This facility is only geared for 10,000 cases.
Yeah. Wow.
It's unbelievable. So if you think about it, to grow a grape, it takes you 3 years to get a crop. You plant that grape, it goes up the cordon wire, you cut it, it goes lateral, cut them the second year. Third year, they go vertical, you get a good quality crop of grapes. You take those grapes, you process it, put it in a barrel, you age it for 2 years. You're talking about 5 years before you really get a glass of wine, a red wine anyway, okay, on the startup products. So now come on in here and I'll show you the barrel room. I'll show you what I call the happy room. Because after that 5 years, you're just kind of frantic.
What was that?
How will it come out?
Yeah. Can't imagine being a custom crush facility in 1 year. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's really
It
good for you.
it
That takes a lot of.
It literally has exploded. I
Yeah.
mean, the wine industry, once you do a good job, people want you to do more. And this year it was like a bumper crop. So
Right,
all the people
so
that
you
were doing
had
it for,
excess.
They almost wanted to double their production.
Yeah.
So it just went sky.
Wow. And that really helps you with the cost of your equipment.
Yeah,
So.
cash flow is great.
Oh yeah.
So come on in. Actually, right now what we're doing is we're rotating stock. Okay. We have all the plastic stuff back in the back. We're pulling it out. We'll take what we're doing this year, put back in the back, and then we'll take the stuff that we did last year, and probably in about March, April, no later than May, we'll start bottling our own estate wine, which we're pretty excited about too. We've actually been growing grapes for 5 years.
That's right.
Okay, so anyway, there's 300 bottles of wine to 1 barrel or 25 cases. It's just literally when I first started, I retired out of education. My daughter said, "Dad, what are you going to do now?" And I said, "I'm going to the farm, drink my beer and tequila. I'm done." And one of my daughters said, "Why don't you grow some grapes?" And that's literally how this whole business started. I have 2 daughters that have a good palate. My wife has a good palate. My wife is a science teacher all her life. So the chemistry part of this she's got that background. She loves to cook. So it's a matter of recipes. She really thought it would be a lot more difficult than what it is. But it's kind of second nature to her. I'm the one that struggles. I actually went back to Texas Tech to take a 2-year class.
Good for you. Yeah, that's good.
Viticulture class to learn how to grow the grapes. But in the wine business, the people are just so receptive. They want to help. I can call Deckers or Grape Creek or Benny, whoever, and say, "Hey, here's my problem. What do I need to do?"
So then does John just consult with you guys, or?
Wait, say it again now?
Does John consult with you guys?
Oh yeah, John is actually our winemaker.
Okay, that's where I got a little confused between Dabs and between John.
Yeah. Well, and I say, well, he's our winemaker, but he's our consultant too. That makes sense.
So they do a bit of it together.
We actually made our wine 3 years ago now when we first started. Okay, when we decided we wanted to do more than just grow grapes. We talked to him and said, "Hey, we're fixing to you know, we want to open up a winery. Well, at that time, he was in the process of wanting to start his own label.
Right.
And so, I mean, he probably could have went anywhere, basically, you know. And he chose us, and because we were just getting started, and he was just getting started with his label, so it was just like, thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he has some good wine over there.
Yeah, you're in the right place at the right time. So, anyway, so everybody helps everybody. I mean, I can call them and say, here's my problem, and they say, do this or this, and, you know, if you don't do it 24 hours, let me know, and I'll come help you. That's the part that just blows me away. I mean, these guys, some of them have been doing it for a long time, and I've been doing it for only 5 years, you know, growing the grapes. Anyway, my daughter said, let's grow some grapes, and here we are. Kind of plan A was we wanted to take that old barn that's 165 years old and make that a tasting room until I found out how much it was going to cost.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to go fund me, let me know. I have a heck of a project. But eventually, I still want to do that with that barn because it's just, I mean, it's 165 years old. It's you know, it's a historical barn. It's awesome. So I want to be able to do the tasting downstairs.
That'd be really cool.
Come up with the pairings. You can see out all the way to Fredericksburg.
That'd be cool. Kind of like, what's the winery here that has, have you guys been to it? The one that has the different rooms, the house that's the original.
William Chris.
Oh my gosh! I mean that when you said that about the barn or whatever, I think that would be amazing. It's called William Chris. If you haven't been there, it's really cool.
Good place.
Yeah, and great wine. Yeah.
We have another little house that's got a cellar to it, and then the main floor, and then an upstairs, which we could turn into a bed and breakfast, or we could turn it into a little thing. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but the cost to do those buildings was more than what it cost to do this whole facility. So we jumped that and said, come on, let's start new and come up here and then we'll go back later. And do all that. It's progress and working, I guess. It's just need a little time and money. You know what I mean? Which hopefully will happen. It's good. Okay,
that's great. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for stopping. Great.
Thank you, John.
It's a pretty good story, you know, because you hear so often about small wineries that, you know, are barely making it because they do it for a passion and whatever, but your business model that you've fallen into or whatever, I mean, very smart, you know.
Well, we probably consulted for a year and a half, and we went to so many places, and it was like, okay, so what do you like about this place? What can we take away that would help us? What do you think you want to do? What can you do? And the other good thing is we got all of our kids are involved. I have 4 children.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, since it's your idea.
Congratulations. I read the paper. Every single one of them went to college. I was like, how did he get all 4 to do that?
Yes, all 4 of them went. All 4 of them graduated.
Gosh, good for you.
And
wow.
It was like, okay, now you're on your own. You want to go to college and work on your master's? Good luck. That's it. I've got your foot in the door, as they would say. But that's the other thing. They've all come back to help in some form
I saw that. Yeah.
Julie, the one that suggested, you know, grow some grapes.
She didn't run and hide for the hills, did she?
She loves to come back here. She likes to be back here or in the vineyards, probably more than anybody. Jessica, my oldest daughter, is our tasting room manager. So she likes that aspect.
They moved back, right? Is that the one with the baby or something that moved back?
Two grandkids.
Yeah.
In fact, they.
Pictures.
Her husband had the opportunity to work from home, and so they sold their house in San Antonio, and then they moved up here.
There you go. Way cute. So getting working young.
There you go.
This is the only way to do it.
Papa, I want to help. Okay, get your little buddy in there.
How cute is that?
So anyway, he's our IT guy and does our POS system.
Yep.
So that's that's huge.
Oh yeah.
It's not just another expense, as they would say. And then that son that's in there right now, he's been a wine guru. He worked for John at
That's what he was saying. And is he the one that's doing the W set?
Yeah,
We're just
yeah.
finished our second level, and that's fun.
Of course he's got a real job too. So it's
I know.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
And then I've got another son that lives in Midland, and he and most of his friends, when they were growing up from the 6th grade to about high school, they would always come up here and go dove hunt. And we had a father-son dove hunt. So when I needed planters, I called those guys and I said, okay, guys, you owe me. I need somebody to come help me plant.
Yeah.
And so they pretty much planted everything that I've done. We actually planted 1,200 grapevines in about an hour and 20 minutes. Because I told them you can have all the beer and barbecue you want, but not till we get these 2,400 plants done. And I mean, hour and 30 minutes later, they knocked out 12.
They were ready to party.
We took about an hour and a half break, and they came back and planted these up here in right at about 2 hours.
Oh, nice friends to have.
It is. I mean, it's truly.
Did you call them idiots?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
no.
You know what I tell them, I said, look, I'm going to work your butt off. And they go, no, it's okay, Coach, as long as you got the beer and barbecue. And,
now, why are you called Coach? Did you coach in
I used
college
to be
or in high school?
High school. I was a high school football head baseball coach, and then I went back, got my master's, became an administrator.
Okay.
And so people just still say, hey, Coach.
Okay.
They know that you've done that for 40 years.
All right.
Coach John.
Well, somebody inside at the bar had said Coach. I think the lady that was serving us first, and I was
coached
like,
her son back when he was probably a freshman in high school.
Okay.
So now he's playing JUCO baseball. I mean, they all. And what's really amazing, I've had 3 or 4 of my students, former students, walk in here and they didn't know what I was doing. And so they walk in and they go, Coach! And it's just like old times. I mean, in fact, now that I say that, this kid that was in the 8th grade was the last time I saw him. Okay? He walked in yesterday afternoon.
Oh, wow.
He's the head coach at Midland Lee. And I just went, oh my God, Hartman, what are you doing? He said, Coach, what the hell are you doing here? So I'm selling wine, and I hope you buy some. And he goes, yes, sir. I mean, it's just
absolutely.
Yes,
I don't know if that ever changes.
It doesn't. Once you've got them, you've got them. In fact, I've got another little thing. I call it the Wow, and I started doing it with my kids. Wow. It's words of wisdom. And I send it out during the week, and I started doing it when they were in high school, and then obviously went to college. Once they went to college, they started sharing it with their friends. Okay, so now I have probably 200 people at least that I send it to. I have these little groups of 10, and I send it out every morning. Cool. And it's like you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. That was the one last Thursday. I think as you grow older, Christmas lists get shorter because the things you want can't be bought. So I'm sending out these,
nice.
I send them out every morning, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And if I forget, if I get busy, my phone
blows up.
Yeah, it does. It goes crazy. Hey, what up? How we doing?
Old man,
Good.
how you doing?
Good. What are you guys doing? Long time no see.
I guess so, right?
Just a couple of weeks from
There you go. How are you, Josh?
They enjoy showing their work. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, that's good. That's a lady that my wife used to work with.
Oh, fun.
So, in fact, whenever we started, this, the lady that's in there that's fixing to do the paintings for the glasses today, Linda Heyer, she's the art teacher for these ladies taught together for 20 years at least in one school. All right, they never left.
Yeah.
I mean, forever.
They
They're
all
like
know
sisters.
each other, right? Exactly.
Oh my God, there was a group of them that came. There was like 10 or 15 of them that came the other day, and I looked down there and I went, she taught for 30 years, she taught for 40 years, she taught for 40, she taught for 35, and I looked down and I figured it up. I said, these 10 ladies have taught almost 400 years. I mean, I think it was 12 of them, but they averaged 30 to 45 years. I mean, it was just
that's pretty cool.
What do we got?
Pretty cool.
Thank you.
So I mean, it's pretty incredible.
So do you do tours on a regular basis on the weekend, or is it
I
just
do
when-
these. I call it the nickel tour, and what I do is just if somebody's curious enough to want to know what's going on after I start talking to them, I'll say, well, come on, I'll take you to the back and let
That's
you
cool.
do it. Okay? We have a couple of tours that we do charge. We call it the estate tour, and so I'll put them in the gator, and we'll literally go, and I will I will show them how we grow the grapes. I'll take them down to the old buildings, bring them back up here, run them through this. We'll do a barrel tasting, and then we'll do a glass of wine and a little cheese. It's 60. It's either 50 or $60.
So that takes about an hour at
A
least.
good hour.
Yeah.
And if they start talking about it and want to know about it, then it lasts longer.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy doing it, and it's amazed me how many people don't realize what goes on back here.
Yes.
I mean, it was like me. I had not a clue.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, really? Wow. So.
Well, left the ladies alone.
I know,
up there.
right?
They'll be making wine, and
Yeah.
they're working son of a guns on that.
We will, we're just going to be writing up this time a piece on the Christmas trail, just as a one overall piece, but then we have not come to this area before. We've come to this area many
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
We just hadn't hit this winery
Right,
before.
right.
Obviously, you're brand new. When we get back down here, we'll get in contact with you and see if we can't do a formal interview and
bet.
come
You
back
bet.
in and do a formal review and all of that.
You bet.
So we like to use a lot of video.
Give me some ink. Put me some ink.
Yes,
I like
exactly.
ink. I used to love it as a player and as a coach. So
Yeah.
and now they've got. And what's really funny is whenever someone like the newspaper or Twigger or somebody comes in, they're usually it's my picture in the magazine or the article or whatever.
Yeah.
So she doesn't get
Can
her
I take a
picture.
picture of both of us? She does it? Right there.
She doesn't get the magazine pictures that I get all the time, right?
It's beautiful.
Because I'm busy working.
Ow!
Yeah, right.
Well, we really appreciate
Well,
that.
thank
this
you
is
guys.
great.
That's
Thank
what-
you
that's
so
what
much.
That's
Yeah.
what we're here for. Is
Yeah.
So
All
come back
right.
anytime and
We will.
We have that.
We will.
We have that.
We will.